Hello and welcome to pnclounge.com. Today we are discussing decision making, and this is an important topic when it comes to the acquire resource process, something that we have already covered in the past. Now, if you are into reading articles rather than watching videos, so first link in the description will take you to a relevant article on decision making over at our official website pnclounge.com. And as always, second link in the description will take you to the entire playlist of resource management knowledge area. So two important links, do check them out. With that being clear, let's get started. So where are we? I told you that decision making pertains to acquire resources process, and this is actually one of the tools and techniques of this process. Acquire resources, this is where the process lies, executing process group, resource management knowledge area. One of the tools and techniques of this process is decision making. So, what is decision making? Chances are that you might have already read about decision making as part of the collect requirements process. And actually, we have covered this as part of collect requirements, but that was a tool and technique known as group decision making techniques. So I'll share a link. Third link in the description will take you to group decision making techniques, which we have already covered. So you already should have a fair idea about decision making. But here we are not talking about group decision making. We are talking about decision making singular. All right. So in deciding what resources to acquire, here's the difference. Multi-criteria decision analysis. This is something which is not part of group decision making. Group decision making is all about majority, plurality, and all that good stuff. Multi-criteria decision analysis. This tool is used to rate the potential resources that you need. So the criteria and the value of how you rate the resources that may obviously change and can vary based on the different resources that are required for the project. Now, when we say resources, I hope you remember we are talking about both team resources or known as human resources as well. So team resources and physical resources, both kind of resources is what we are talking about when we say resources. A quick reminder before we move ahead, Project Management 101, a free 1.5 hour training session, your gateway to the world of project management. Head over to pmclounge.com/pm101. It's absolutely free. Do check that out. All right, now let's take a look at selection criteria for resources. And resources include both team resources or human resources and physical resources. So what are some of the selection criteria? Number one is cost. So when you are this far that you are looking to acquire resources, chances are that you already know what the project budget is. You have already done the cost for the project, right? You've already done the budget for the project. So obviously, whatever resource that you're looking for, the resource cost must not exceed the project budget. The resource cost must be within the project budget. So this is important criteria for selecting a resource. And like I said, this is both human resources or team resources as well as physical resources. Availability. So a resource being fairly available, and this is a common speaking language kind of usage of the word fairly here, right? So let's say somebody tells you, oh, you need this resource or you need this server. This is fairly available, but that is not enough. The resource needs to be available at the specific time when you need it. That is most important. So let's say you need a server to create a customer environment and you have invited the customer on 30th of August to test the new product that you have created. That resource, that server to create the customer environment should be available on 30th of August. That's how specific you need to go when it comes to availability. Finally, the ability. So while discussing acquire resources process, and we have already discussed this, we've already discussed how having resources that do not have the capability may impact the project's probability of success. A verification of resource capability is thus very important. So when you are getting yourself a resource, be it human resource, be it physical resource, you need to know what is the capability of that resource and whether it is a match with what you need as far as your project is concerned, because the capability is going to impact the success of your project, and nothing should mess with the success of your project as far as the project manager is concerned. Selection criteria that are specific to team resources or human resources, of course. Number one, experience. So experience of physical resources do not count, right? So having an experienced resource can significantly help in guiding the team in right direction. And when we say experienced resource, we don't necessarily mean the experienced resource is the experienced project manager. It could be an experienced engineer. It could be an experienced business analyst. It could be an experienced product manager. As long as someone who has a lot of experience in the kind of project you are dealing with, he or she being part of the project will be significantly helpful, and they can definitely guide the project team whenever they are going on the wrong path. Knowledge. So, knowledge need not be tied to the subject matter or the domain of the project. A resource with a good knowledge of the customer can be an asset of the project team too. So, someone who knows the customer in and out, someone who knows how the customer is going to behave in certain situations, right? That kind of knowledge is also an asset to the project team. So, someone with the knowledge of subject matter is of course going to be helpful. Someone with the knowledge of the domain of the project is definitely going to be helpful, but someone with the knowledge of the customer is also very, very helpful. So that is why knowledge pays, knowledge is power. Someone with knowledge, if he or she can be part of your project team, that is definitely an asset. International factors, so non-compatible time zone and very limited communication skills. These are two things. If you have a team member like that, you know that it is not good for anyone. Someone who's fast asleep when you are scheduling your team meetings or when you are working during your office hours, it doesn't help, right? Someone who does not understand the language of the rest of the project team, right? Let's say everyone in the project team speaks only Chinese and you have someone who has no idea about anything related to Chinese, then obviously their communication skills are of no use to your project and they are definitely not a good match for your project. Skills and attitude. Now, in certain text, you will find different entries for skill and attitude, but I tend to put them together because skills, now these two skills may have nothing to do with attitude, but having just one, having just the skills and not the attitude, or having just the attitude but not the skills is definitely not enough. So, team resource or the human resource must not only possess the relevant skill set, but should also be willing to work with others as a cohesive team. So, someone with superb skills, right? Superb skill set, but they do not work with the team as a cohesive unit. They are of no use. In fact, they would have a negative impact on the project. So, I'd rather have someone who has the skill as well as the right attitude, the willingness to work with the team as a unit. That is what is required, and that's why I put these two together, skills and attitude. So those were the 7 criteria that we discussed for both team resources as well as physical resources. And now it's time for the question of this video. Of the 7 criteria discussed, which one do you think is the most important? Let me know in the comments and also let me know the reason why you think one of those 7 is the most important. I'm definitely looking forward to your answers. Now, if you're looking for a point of reference, here are those 7 criteria that we discussed. Cost, availability, ability. These 3 apply to both physical resources as well as team resources, while the last 4 apply only to team resources, which are experience, knowledge, international factors, skills, and attitude. So which one of these 7 do you think is the most important? Let me know in the comments. I'm definitely looking forward to your answers. Also, don't forget all the links that we have added in the description. If you have not seen our acquire resources process video, that is very, very important to understand what we have just discussed. One of the tools and techniques of acquire resources process. So that is all that we had in this video. Hope you were able to understand the concept of decision making. Smash that like button if you found this video helpful. It helps us stay motivated and create more content for you. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon if you haven't done so already. That will keep you notified whenever we upload new content. Also, don't forget to check out our official website, pmclounge.com, your number one free PMP resource. And one last thing, don't forget to check us out on our social media as well, facebook.com/pmclounge and twitter.com/pmclounge. Thank you and have a nice day.